Hello, and welcome back to the Pain Exchange. Every year, IESP is dedicated to serving our global community by focusing on a special aspect of pain to increase awareness within the pain field and beyond. This year, IESP's 2025 Global Year theme shines a light on pain management, education, and research in low and middle income settings. To help me interview an IESP member who has directly benefited from this initiative, I have the pleasure of introducing you to my colleague, Javier Ubri, the new manager of Global Programs and Communications Education at IESP. Hello, Javi, and thank you for joining me today.
Thanks to you, Renee. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to join you and enjoy this conversation.
IESP has the privilege to call many of the world's top pain professionals our members. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Daisy, a lecturer at the Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery at Hanoi Medical University and current PhD candidate at Taipei Medical University School of Nursing and longtime member of IESP. Originally a nurse, Daisy was unsure about her PhD thesis topic. However, after attending IESP conferences and workshops, she found the direction she needed. With this support from IESP Financial Aid, she was able to present some of her findings in a poster at the World Congress of Pain and connect with some of the top pain professionals in the field, solidifying her interest in the field of pain research. So, welcome, Daisy.
Hello, Javi, and hello, Rennie, and hello, everyone listening to the Pain Exchange podcast. And it's such an honor to be here today and to share a little bit about my journey in the pain field. So my name is Lê Thị Cúc, but you can call me Daisy. And I am a lecturer of Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery, Hanoi Medical University in Vietnam, and now I'm pursuing my PhD in nursing at Taipei Medical University in Taiwan. And my research focuses on chronic pain and palliative care, and with a special interest in chronic low back pain.
Sounds like amazing background, Daisy. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for introducing yourself. And also, I would like to know, one of my first questions would be, if you could describe your work in the pain field.
Actually, I began my career as a nurse and the clinical teacher, so where I witnessed many patients living with a long-term pain without effectiveness of the management. So the experience inspired me to move into the research about my current work's interest, patient-reported outcome measurement with AI to predict the treatment pathway and helping determine the way the patient with low back pain may benefit more from the story or from the compensative treatment. And the goal is to support the personalized evidence-based decision, especially for the low resources in Vietnam.
So you said you were a nurse and you had noticed a lot of your patients in pain and not able to relieve that pain. Is that what motivated you to pursue a PhD in pain research?
Yes, actually, it's a long story, I think, for me. It's a long story with many emotion and motivations. Yes, the motivation really go back from my childhood. I was born in very remote mountainous area in Vietnam. It's far from capital, about 500 kilometers, I think. And it's where access to the healthcare were extremely limited. I still remember that long journey just to reach a hospital in the province, and how many people around me live with the untreated pain simply because there are no specialists in all the facility. And so growing with that reality, I opened to myself that if only we have a better care here, that sense is responsibility that has stayed with me until today. When I grew with a nurse career, I came to understand that chronic pain is not just only the physical symptom. It's affect to the body, the mind, and even though the family relationship. That is give me a strong desire to dedicate my research to pain and hope that one day I could contribute better care model for the patient. But I think the deep motivation come from my father. He have lived with chronic low back pain, with spinal stenosis and herniated disc for so many years. So as the 7 years old, he went through the surgery. But sadly, the pain relief was very limited. So for long times, he has a really heavily painkiller, and with the eventually caused by chronic kidney disease right now. And I watched how the pain drained his energy, his spirits, even his connection with my family and my friends. And like I feel so powerless in both the nurse and the daughter that I could to do more to help him. So it's really broken my heart. And I know that in Vietnam, there are thousands of fathers and mothers, and even the grandparents live the same story with my father. So that's why I chose this path, because for me, the PhD in the pain field is not only an academic journey, it's also the deeply personal. So it is about the turning my sad needs, my helpless needs into something meaningful. And it's about making sure that the patient like my father and so many other will have a better opportunity, better support, and even though hopefully it's a better life. Yes.
So you had talked about how broad pain is, how it's not just physical, it's mental and social and everything like that. So what challenges are you facing in that field? And how did you have trouble narrowing down your topic into what you're researching now?
Actually, the I think for every researcher, the biggest challenge will find the topic that's in both innovative and practical. That's pain research is very broad field, right? So as a nerd researcher, I want to choose focus where my clinic's background could truly make contribution. So at first, I consider more traditional clinical like study, but I always like carry a question of my mind like, how can I help some people who place like the one where I was born? That is like remote areas and limited of the healthcare support. And the remote and low resources in my countries, the big gap is not only treatment, but it's also early decision making. So many hospitals not have any advanced imaging like the MRIs, and the medical workforce is limited in the both number of experts, and the diagnosis tests are often too expensive for the patient. So I keep asking to myself that there is any cheaper or more accessible way to support diagnosis and the guide treatment. And also the challenges is I think in my country and developing country there are lack of standardized validated international assessment tool. Without this tool, it's very difficult to compare data internationally or the provide the evidence-based care locally. So in the a part of my research, have decided to adapt and validating some tool for the Vietnamese patient. However, like that, more than that, I being in Taiwan, a country to well known for the technology advance, and it also inspired me. like I realized that the innovation should not remain only in advanced hospital, but also like translate to practical solution for the rural or the under-resourced system. So it's really will come to foundation of my thesis. Like I combine to AI with the patient reported outcome to predict the treatment for the patient. So it can be have doctor or the hospital can like have an early decision making for the patient. Yes.
Well, that's a great list of challenges that you faced. And it's impressive how your background and your expertise is based on them. So we would like to know also if you could tell us more, because you said you've attended some conferences and workshops
Yes.
That influence you. So which ones specifically influence your decision making on the thesis topic?
Oh, I have a chance to complete the multiple disciplinary pain clinic toolkit training workshop for the Vietnam in 2021. It's organized by AISP. At the same time, I also complete the essential pain management online course. And after those training, I have offered the free AISP membership for 3 years. It's the very first time I truly feel connect with the global pain community. Before this training, I mostly work on the palliative care. You know, that is very wide, right? But through the workshop, I suddenly realized that, oh, that is exactly where I can make difference and contribution. So it's give me more clarity about how can I actually help the patient living with pain. And then since then, I have stayed actively engaged. And in 2024, I was so proud to be selected a member of AISP, Early Career Network Education Committee. So yes.
Sounds great. And well, another question comes to my mind, which is how did you first hear about us, about ISP? How long have you been a member?
4 years. 4 years for the member. Yes.
And how did you first hear about us?
Yeah, it's the first to know, as I mentioned, that's in 2021. That's when I achieved to complete the multidisciplinary pain clinic toolkit training workshop for Vietnam. So at that time, I really knows about that. It's such a very great opportunity to me because I'm so honored and surprised because I was one of very few nurses selected to join this training. Yes.
Thank you for your response.
And so you said you were selected for the Early Career Research Committee?
Yes, we do have the Pain Society in my country. However, before that, I'm working in palliative care, so I don't know about that. And until when I working with the cancer patient, so I think that's one of the most thing need to be like effect with them is decrease the pain for them, and that's why I feel like, oh, that is very nice opportunity to I can help the patient more on pain. Yes.
And
yeah.
no, I just want to say that that's amazing. You've told us, Daisy, that many ISP resources have helped you throughout your academic career. How have PERC and the Early Career Network play a role in guiding or refining your thesis work?
Oh, that is very good question. Because for me, joining the PERC and Early Career Network were more than just professional opportunities, and it gave me the direction, encouragement, and true sense of belonging. And coming for the low and middle income countries, where the resource and standard dietary is very like limited. So I also face the challenges with a loss of undeveloped academic environment. So through the network, however, I found the mentor and peer who helped me to improve my methodology and refine my research focus, and reinforce that nursing perspectives are truly valued in the pain research. And their support aligning closely with the feedback and receive at the international conference makes my thesis not only stronger but also more globally relevant. Yes. And one thing I think that is more important thing that the experience inspire me to think beyond my own PhD with the conference I have a joy with other young doctor, nurse, and physical therapy and group in Vietnam to establish a young pain team. We working together in both research and clinical practice. So for me, this is real impact, turning the challenges into the opportunity and transforming individually effort into the collective strength for the better pain care in the future. So that is a lot of things I received from that.
That's amazing, Daisy. And it's so great that IASP was able to connect you with those other researchers that were able to help you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've also been able to help a lot of the other researchers too. In that vein, what advice would you give to early career researchers who are looking for a thesis topic?
Yeah, so from my perspective, honestly, my advice would be like start from your own passion and your local reality. The problem you will see every day in your patient, in your hospital, and in your community is often the most meaningful starting point for the research. And this question matter for your patient, it will be matter for the wider world too. And then from there, don't be afraid to check a guide and the mentorships. The network like the IASP and PICH or the early career network can help you to define an idea that's begin something very local into the strong globally and relevant to research topic. And and finally, I think that's don't shy away from the interdisciplinary work. Pain is complex, so it's touched on the nurse, medical, psychological, increasing the technology. So bringing the perspective together is not only create strong research, but also more like practical solution for the patient. Yeah, so just for in short, that's let your head and the context guideline the question and let the global community and the collaboration shape your answer. So I think that is perfect. Yeah.
Great. Well, we've talked about your past and your current situation, and you've shared with us your impressive background. But Daisy, what do you think the future holds for your career? What are your expectations? How do you see yourself progressing in the pain field?
In the future, I think I will be back home, stay with the pain field because like the nurse can be do lots of things for the patient, and also with the collaboration or working in disciplinary team, it can have the best outcome. And also, I was thinking about how can apply the technology to help the patient. And like, for example, in my thesis, it's going to be apply AI to predict the treatment. Like for the patient live in the high mountainous landmark province, so they can using this model to have a suggestion for the doctor or the suggestion for the patient. They can do like more about like early decision making and the treatment for the patient. Yes. So I will stay with the pain field. I think that is very interesting and I can do contribute to a lot for the patient in the future. Yeah.
For sure. And incorporating AI into your work is such a good idea. And the way that you're incorporating that AI into your work is such a good use of it. So one kind of big question that I wanted to leave you with today is what's one thing IASP could do to help you that we're not currently doing right now?
Actually, I think I truly believe that IASP really provides so much for me and for the early career researcher. from education to network opportunity. So just one thing I would to love to see, however, is a structure of mentorship program, especially pairing senior researcher with early career member from low and middle income countries. So for many of us, this kind of guidance could make a huge difference because I could not only have overcome challenges in funding, methodology, publication, but also give us the confidence to develop suitable projects that can truly impact to our patient in my country. So having someone work with us on this journey, even a short period, it would be valuable. Yes, I think. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Daisy, for speaking with us today and for letting us know your journey. It's been inspiring, and I know that our listeners will learn a lot from it. And we're also so excited to see your career progress.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I just have come back from the NEO6, the NEO6 in Berlin. And there I can share my result for every experts in the world. So that is amazing opportunity that I received from the financial aid. Yes, and help me more confident. And also when they stop by my sponsor, they can give me encourage me to continue my journeys and also share some experience and share the idea. That can be improve my thesis a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Daisy. It was a pleasure getting to know more about you, and I'm delighted to join the conversation. So thank you also, Renee.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, it's been so great to hear how IESP has been able to help you. And it warms my heart to hear that all of our efforts are really actually helping and making a difference for you and for other researchers in these low and middle income settings as well.
Yep. I do hope that my stories can encourage and have the people can have the opportunity to receive the valuable thing that I received before this. Yes. Thank you so much.